Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty hilarious show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, yesterday, which was Monday, is the day, one of the 2 days that Shannon Sharpe usually makes an appearance on ESPN First Take. He's usually there on Mondays and Tuesdays. So yesterday was him, Stephen A. Smith, and Carlos Boozer. And of course, they were talking about the Lakers, and they were talking about the game that the Lakers lost to the Chicago Bulls at home. It was a pretty bad loss. I think they lost by 28 points or something like that. They lost pretty handily. So they were reacting to that game. But of course, you know, Shannon Sharpe, he's always going to kind of act like as if nothing is wrong. He said, man, you know, Lakers in five. I ain't got nothing to worry about. And Stephen A. Smith was there just kind of like looking at him like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? So going into that game, going into last night, the Lakers were slated to play against the Orlando Magic. And at that point, I believe the Lakers were the number do I want to say the number? Yeah, they were the number 4 seed in the Western Conference, right? And they had lost 2 games in a row prior. They lost to the Bucks and they lost to the Chicago Bulls. So going into that game in Orlando where they played, I had a feeling, I thought the Lakers should win the game because they have more talent on the floor. You have LeBron, you have Luka Doncic, you have Austin Reeves and all of these guys. But I do know that the Orlando Magic can play very well. And I do remember the game where the Orlando Magic beat the Lakers in LA about a month or 2 ago, right? So I remember that. So when I tuned into the game, I was kind of like watching it on and off. I saw that the Magic were playing the Lakers pretty close in the first half. And I said to myself, given the fact that the Lakers have not been able to get any distance on this team, I felt like the Orlando Magic were going to win, because usually what happens is in a game where the Lakers are definitely going to win, they're able to create distance with that team early in the first quarter or so, and then they can just kind of keep the difference, hold their lead, and then ultimately go out there and win the game. But when they went into the halftime, and I think the Lakers were only up 2 points, I think it was like 60-58. I said to myself that the Orlando Magic absolutely have a chance to beat the Lakers, and that's exactly what happened in the second half when the Orlando Magic came out there and they just, you know, they were on fire. They were on fire, and they ended up scoring in the second half 60 to the Lakers 46. And ultimately, they ended up beating them 118-106, and everyone was reacting to it. And last night, they did an episode of Nightcap where Shannon Sharpe was up there with Chad Johnson, and they were talking about this loss. And I want you guys to listen to what Shannon Sharpe had to say after that loss last night, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Shannon here.
And then they get outscored in the third quarter by about 14, 16. And it's the third quarter again. JJ's going to have to push some different buttons because they come out lackadaisical and they let the team go on a run. And it's hard to reattach yourself to them when they get a streak like that. But give Orlando credit. They won and as a matter of fact, they stopped Cleveland. They went on the road. Yeah. Cleveland had a 16-17 game win streak. They went into their building and they won. So they are better than their record would indicate. Right. But the problem was Banchero got hurt at one point in time. Wagner got hurt at one point in time, so they haven't been able to play extended period of time together. But this is a good team. Don't let their record fool you. But the Lakers have to be disappointed. They got to play better. They're in 4th spot right now. They're 2.5 games out of the 2nd spot. But tonight, again, it was defense. They gave up 146 Saturday night, and they gave up 118 tonight. And they had been playing really, really good defense up until that point.
Okay, now with everything that you said, they're in 4th, right? They lost tonight. You understand the problems and the woes that the Lakers are having, the inconsistencies. They want to run. You're understanding their woes coming out of halftime in the third quarter, allowing teams to always go on a run. Now think about everything you just said. I want your honest answer, your honest opinion. Is it still Lakers in 5?
Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Look, that's fixable. Look, that's fixable, Ocho. That's something like, look, guys, we've got to do a better job of defending.
Yes, sir.
And you guys can't get broken down off the first dribble.
Right.
You get broken down in the first dribble, now you're compromised because help's coming, and now they swing the ball. They're getting wide open threes, or they're getting uncontested layups. So you can't get broken down off the first dribble. They got outscored 34-18 in the third quarter. I mean, there in no way should a Lakers team that got Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the court only score 18 points in a quarter.
Yeah.
And if you only score 18, you better make sure they don't score more than 22.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do that, and I get it, the Lakers, I think they played 7 games. At one point in time, had 7 games in 10 days. But we don't do excuses here. You either win or you lose. It's a very short on sports menu at my restaurant. Only thing I got on my menu is dubs and L's. That's all you can order. Right. You can't order excuses because I don't serve it.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? I think that Shannon doesn't really analyze the Lakers with a serious eye. Half of the time, he's up there cracking jokes and being funny and all of that. When in reality, number one, you need to take the state of affairs of the Lakers more seriously, and you need to give more respect to the opponents. And this thing of Lakers in 5 it's a joke. Lakers ain't beating nobody in 5 in the playoffs. There's not, at least nobody I can foresee right now. They're not going to beat Houston in 5. They're not going to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in 5. If they played the Warriors, they're not going to beat them in 5. So I don't see that, and I think a lot of it is joking. But let's get serious here. In that game yesterday, the Lakers had players that were scoring. Luka Doncic. I mean, Luka is clearly the Lakers' best scorer. When you watch him play, he scores effortlessly. Luka had 32 points in that game. He shot 39% from the field. LeBron had 24 points in the game. He shot 50% from the field. Dorian Finney-Smith had 14. Austin Reeves had 18. And I think some other guys chipped in here and there. But the problem with the Lakers was they couldn't stop anybody. The problem was their defense. And the Lakers have players that aren't really playing great defense right now. You have that point. You have something else that I think is important to point out, and it's something that I've noticed. A team can get on a hot streak and start developing good habits. And the longer they stay on that streak, the more those habits sustain themselves. But what I think happened with the Lakers was they were on that run. I think they had won 8 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And then they started falling into this thing that one of the teams that's notorious for is the Clippers. They started low managing. LeBron started missing games. And what they started doing was throwing games, essentially. Oh, we'll lose that game. We're still fine. Oh, we'll lose that game. We're still fine. You look up and they say, oh, we lose that game. We're still fine. Oh, we lose that game. We're still fine. Right? Because we have a cushion. And now what's ended up happening is the Lakers have lost 3 in a row. But here's the most critical part of it. They risk falling from the 3rd or 4th seed all the way down to the 5th seed and potentially the 6th seed. Now, here's why this is critical. The Lakers are currently tied for 28 losses. The teams that are tied for that is the 4, and the 5th seed. But then the minute you get into that 30-loss realm, you now risk going right into the play-in. Because the teams that are in the play-in picture right now are the Warriors, the Clippers who have 31 losses, the Warriors who have 30, and the Minnesota Timberwolves who have 32 losses. So if you don't correct the ship right now, you could very well find yourself in a play-in tournament. Now, let's look at some of the opponents that they have coming up. They have the Pacers coming up. I think the Pacers are, if I'm not mistaken, the Pacers should be a playoff team. Yes, they are. They're 42-29, and they've won 5 games in a row, so they're on a streak. So you have the Pacers. You have the Grizzlies, who is a team right behind you. So that's going to be a very consequential game that the Lakers need to win, right? Because if they lose that game, then for sure they're going to be the 5th seed. And then after that, you have the Rockets, who are a legitimate threat. You have another important game, which is going to be against the Golden State Warriors. You have the Pelicans, who I don't think are a real threat. But then you have the Thunder 2 times in a row. The Lakers have the Thunder 2 games in a row. Then they got the Mavericks, and then they got the Rockets. So If the Lakers are a serious team, they need to beat the Pacers, and they for damn sure need to beat the Bulls. Those are 2 games they have to win. It's not even a question about it. Because the other games against the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Rockets, these are all teams that are competing for spots in their conference. If you mess around and lose some of those games, like go 2 and 3 out of those games, you are going to run into a buzzsaw against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the only thing that will save the Lakers in that scenario is if they sit some of their key players. If they don't, it's going to be the Lakers could very well find themselves in the play-in tournament. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.